What happens when a former U.S. president can't understand half of what's happening at his own dinner table? For Donald Trump, it's not politics or business, but something far more personal. A language barrier that leaves him out of conversations between his wife Melania and their son Barron. The language gap, a frustration for Trump. Trump's irritation stems from his wife Melania's Slovenian heritage, a bond she shares closely with their son Barron. Raised primarily by Melania, Barron has become fluent in Slovenian, and this linguistic connection between mother and son reportedly leaves Trump feeling sidelined. The frustration is twofold. Not only does Trump not understand the content of their conversations, but the exclusivity of their bond, built on language, only serves to emphasize his sense of isolation. This language divide symbolizes a broader emotional gap within the family, as Trump is left out of key bonding moments. Trump's natural inclination to be at the center of attention only heightens his frustration when he finds himself on the periphery in his own home. Barron, the multilingual teen. At 18 years old, Barron Trump is no ordinary teenager. Not only has he grown up in the public eye, but he's also fluent in multiple languages, including English, Slovenian, and reportedly French. This multilingualism reflects Melania's deep influence on her son's upbringing, ensuring that he stays connected to his Slovenian roots despite their life in the United States. His linguistic skills have become a symbol of his strong relationship with Melania, but they have also highlighted Trump's comparative lack of involvement. As Barron gains more fluency in languages other than English, Trump's inability to connect on this level becomes increasingly apparent. This dynamic subtly reflects the distinct ways Melania and Trump have shaped their son's identity, one focused on cultural roots, the other on public life. Trump's perspective, feeling left out. For a man known for his larger-than-life personality, Trump's exclusion from these conversations in his own home reportedly annoys him. Author Mary Jordan, who wrote The Art of Ordeal, a biography on Melania, noted that Trump expressed his frustration multiple times about not understanding what was being said around him. This lack of understanding isn't limited to casual conversations. It also extends to family decisions and bonding moments. Trump, who is used to being in control of every aspect of his life, finds himself in an unusual position within his own household, where he's on the outside looking in. The family's multilingual dynamic is symbolic of Trump's broader struggle to connect with Barron on a deeper, more personal level, as the language divide mirrors an emotional and generational one. Melania's role, protector of privacy. Melania has always been fiercely protective of Barron's privacy, keeping him away from the spotlight. As Barron grew up in the White House and Mar-a-Lago, Melania was the central figure in his life, helping to shape his character and his multilingual abilities. For Trump, this dynamic created an internal conflict. While he admired Melania's dedication to Barron's well-being, her protective instincts also kept Trump at arm's length from their relationship. Melania's role as both mother and guardian created a language barrier between Trump and Barron, further solidifying the former president's sense of exclusion. Despite being a public figure, Trump struggled to bridge the private divide within his own family, where Melania's Slovenian heritage became a key part of their daily life. The Slovenian connection, a family unit. Melania's parents, who also speak Slovenian, further strengthened this family bond. When the four of them, Melania, Barron, and her parents, communicate in Slovenian, Trump is completely isolated from the conversation. It's not just a language barrier, but a symbolic wall separating him from the closest members of his family. This isolation is compounded by Trump's lack of effort to learn the language, something that, according to reports, has been a recurring source of tension. The closeness of this Slovenian unit within the Trump household represents more than just familial bonding. It highlights Trump's outsider status in his own home, despite being its figurehead. The situation leaves Trump not only disconnected linguistically, but also culturally, as Melania and Barron's shared heritage becomes a focal point. Barron's growth from private to public life. For years, Barron stayed out of the public eye, making only brief appearances alongside his parents. But as he's matured, Barron has been spotted more frequently at public events, including political rallies and family gatherings. His towering height and multilingual abilities have captured attention, But behind the scenes, Trump's inability to join in the family's Slovenian conversations continues to rankle him. As Barron steps into adulthood, these language-based interactions take on even greater significance, illustrating a private world where Trump remains on the outside. This growing gap between father and son becomes more pronounced as Barron forges his own identity, often outside of Trump's influence, adding a new layer of complexity to their already distant relationship. Melania's stance on language in America. Interestingly, Melania has publicly stated that while it's beneficial to speak multiple languages, in America, English should be the primary mode of communication. This sentiment is somewhat ironic given the private language barrier that exists within her own family. Melania's efforts to teach Barron Slovenian were a way to keep him connected to his heritage, something Trump has begrudgingly accepted, but not without some frustration. While Melania supports English as the main language in public life, her private conversations with Barron in Slovenian remain a point of contention in the Trump household. The very tool she uses to preserve Barron's cultural identity has become a wedge between Trump and his son. Trump's efforts to relate to Barron. While Trump is deeply proud of Barron, he has admitted that he sometimes struggles to connect with his youngest son. Unlike Trump's older children, who are deeply involved in his businesses and politics, Barron has pursued a quieter, more private path under Melania's guidance. Trump's occasional feelings of disconnect, exacerbated by the language barrier, have added an interesting dynamic to their family relationship. It's not just the generation gap, but also the linguistic and cultural differences that make Trump's relationship with Barron different from his connections with his older children. This unique father-son dynamic has become a subtle but ongoing challenge for the former president, creating a stark contrast to the relationships he shares with Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric. Humor in the White House. It's not hard to imagine Trump's exasperation at being left out of conversations in his own home. Perhaps one can picture him at the dinner table, nodding along while Melania and Barron engage in animated discussions in Slovenian, with Trump left to wonder if they're discussing world affairs or simply asking for the salt. For someone as famously assertive as Trump, being reduced to a passive observer in family matters is undoubtedly a new and unfamiliar feeling. The humor here lies in the sheer irony. The man who once commanded a nation finds himself unable to command his own household's discussions. This quiet power shift in the home setting contrasts sharply with Trump's usual public persona, where he thrives on being at the center of attention. And that wraps up our deep dive into the unique language dynamics within the Trump family. What do you think about Trump's frustration over not understanding his wife and son's conversations? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.